Okay, it's time for part 2. What's the number 5 entry? Oh, what's this? An amusement park that's boring? Well, I don't see how can anybody make something like an amusement park boring. Oh, come on! True, like Today's Music Room and Panchico, Carnival Night Zone does have good visuals, but don't let those fool you, because despite being called a carnival, I barely found anything in this place that I would consider fun. And it's not just those barrels that you wouldn't know how they work unless you looked up a guide, but to be honest, even with all the balloons, shell loops, and everything here that balances you around, this level is, to me, quite frankly, boring. Granted, the first act isn't really too bad in spite of the stupid mini-boss, but it's the second act that bothers me because this act takes forever. Not only will you get bounced around all over this place, but this place is also a water level. Sega, don't we already have Hydro City? Why do you think it's necessary to include another water level? As you progress, Knuckles will shut off all the lights, which does a good job at dimming the level I guess, except the darkness barely changes the brightness nor the enemy behavior in this part. I can still see stuff with the lights off, so this removal of lights honestly does nothing other than removing the color factor of this place. However, this level is low on the list because in my recent playthrough of this stage, it's not too bad, even if Act 2 still takes forever. But first time playing this stage, yeah, I was totally not having fun here. And it doesn't help the fact that the music here is just generic clown music and it finishes off with a boss that I honestly can't believe isn't on CES001 or Video A3's worst robotic battles list. Look, I may not be much of an amusement park guy anymore, but I know where the fun of it are and it's not here. And for this next segment, we return to LEGO Indiana Jones The Original Adventures, one of my most cherished games from my childhood. Back in the day, I always liked the LEGO Indiana Jones set, so I got this game. It may not be as good as the games I played in recent years, but it's still fun to replay. So when I heard that the game is getting a sequel, I was hyped! And when I finally got it, it was good? Yes, the worlds are huge, the bonus stages are fun, and it's cool to customize your own levels here. But personally, I still feel like that this game is a bit of a downgrade from the original, especially after watching the films as of late. Apart from the fact that they got rid of the mini-kit, which is one of my favorite parts of the original game, the world's camera can be pretty annoying, there are some unneeded plot points that totally didn't happen in the movies, and honestly, the vehicle stages can go screw themselves. These levels function like the enemy rushes in this game. Basically, you have to take down a certain amount of enemy vehicles in order to win. Sounds simple, right? Well, they are, until you realize the flaws with these stages. First off, these stages are huge, which I personally wouldn't mind except for the second flaw with these stages. The camera. It zooms way too far from you. In 3D games like this, a good camera zooms as close to you at pretty much all times. Not here. Why do I have a problem with this? Because there are stuff littered all around these levels, including stuff that puts your vehicles to a screeching halt, and you probably can't see those stuff until you run into them. Which leads me to my third problem with these stages, the vehicle controls. They're fine when you're moving in a certain direction, but the turning is huge, which is nothing you will want if you're trying to make a U-turn in a cramped up road, and if you saw part 1, you all know how much I hate that cliche. Trust me, because of the camera, you have to make U-turns if you miss the target. Speaking of which, how do you destroy the needed targets? Well, you just run into them. Again, it may sound simple, but you need to hit them hard as possible because if you hit them soft, it won't register a hit. And considering the level design, this is easier said than done. Oh, and when your car slips, the time to flip it back over is inconsistent and it takes forever. There are also ramps, but good luck trying to use them while in the car, which you need to destroy enemy vehicles because the motorcycles are as weak as heck. They're at the size of a slice of salami compared to it. Yeah, there are power-ups, but face it, are they even mandatory? Also, every time your car runs into something, it will put a screeching halt to your speed. Trust me, you need to run over random stuff on the road like you're playing Grand Theft Auto if you want to get the true adventurer for these stages. But one of them to my knowledge is nearly impossible without any cheats or luck. Like the Kid Icarus mazes, most of these are pretty bad, but if you want my honest opinion on which one is the worst, it will be Rainforest Rumble. Because how was I supposed to know that the third line of enemy cars are across that river? Honestly, the only one I can tolerate is Cannon Canyon. Even then, it still has the same problem as all the other vehicle stages. Vehicle sections are a terrible plague upon gaming, and this game at large does absolutely nothing to help that. Seriously, to quote the author of Flame, outside of an actual racing game, when has a vehicle section been fun? Oh, and did I mention that the enemies die after a few seconds of touching the ground when you destroy or hijack their vehicles? Logic? What is that? Let's just move on to the next entry before I get sick. While I grew up with games such as Mario and both the LEGO Indiana Jones games, others spent their childhood playing this little N64 classic called Banjo-Kazooie. I am not one of those people, maybe because I wasn't born when the N64 was still relevant. But eventually I played it, and in spite of countless flaws, it was still a good game. I'm currently stuck at Mad Monster Mansion, but I like all the levels I played so far, except for Clanker's Cavern. Oh wow, finally a water level is on this list because everyone loves these kinds of levels, huh? Okay, seriously, this is not a good level. First off, Banjo-Kazooie's swimming controls are really bad. And the funny thing is, the swimming controls in this game are very inconsistent. Sometimes they're hard to control, but other times they're just fine. But enough picking on the swimming controls. What is this place? Well, apparently, this is where the evil Gruntilda throws away her rubbish, and Clanker, the giant metal fish, is what chews them up. And that's about it. Unlike some of the levels on this list, this level doesn't look nice. It's all, well, I know it's a sewer, but with colorful levels like Freezy Peak, Gobi's Valley, and even Bubble Glue Swamp, why would Rare include a sewer/garbage dump in a game like this? The music is decent, but compared to other songs, well, it's kinda hard to compare if you know what I mean. Unlike the other worlds, there are no interesting NPC to interact with other than Clanker. You meet this fish named Loop, who will give you bubbles to breathe into. But considering the swing control here, touching them is easier said than done. Honestly, I had nothing else to say about this place, because I didn't stay here for very long. I'm not even kidding that when I first played through this stage for the first time, I only found one Jiggy. I didn't even bother with the Wonder Wing ability that Bubbles gives you inside Clanker, because this level is just too tedious for me. If you're playing Banjo-Kazooie, then I recommend you to skip this level, because there is no reason to come to this place other than to find those to open doors and Jiggies to open worlds. Go ahead and just skip this place and head over to somewhere like Bubble Glue Swamp instead. Oh, and chances are, if you're replaying this game, you might forget where to even make this level accessible, as the jigsaw puzzle you need to use to gain access to it is placed in a pretty forgettable part in Gruntilda's lair. Well, at least in my opinion. But yeah, during my second playthrough, I totally didn't bother with this place. I mean, it's not like obtaining all the collectibles here is a must-do or anything. And since Banjo-Kazooie is a game made by Rare... So yeah, Battletoads. Everyone knows this game for being notoriously difficult. Sure, looking at it, it may not look too hard, but if you actually played it, you might find that it has horrible multiplayer and one of, if not, the most hardest level in all of gaming. But not in a good way, of course. Yeah, I know this level is kind of an obvious choice to put on this list. Well, truth is, I was gonna put the Crayon level here mainly because of those stupid electric robots. But other than that, it's not too bad, at least in my recent playthroughs. This one on the other hand, well, remember how I criticized the vehicle section in LEGO Indiana Jones 2 segments ago? Well, as to why those levels are terrible, I guess we'll have this level to blame. True, it may not look too hard. I mean, all you're doing is just avoiding various obstacles in your path, and the obstacles blink as indication on where they're placed, but after a while, you realize how fast the level is. And in a level where you have a lot to avoid, that's probably the last thing you will want. Granted, you can pause the game, listen to the catchy pause music, and take a look at the pause game to see where you need to maneuver in order to survive, but it's not really gonna help that much, especially if one obstacle is too close to you. Every time you think, oh, it's over, finally! No, we have to add another bit of road for you, haha. Now I know how the people who hate Smash Ultimate's World of Light feel. But easily the worst part is the final stretch. What's so bad about it? Well, the obstacles don't flicker. Instead, they appear right in front of you. And considering the speed at this point, not even memorization or the pause trick will help you. I managed to beat it, but that's because I slowed the game down. Thank goodness for emulators. I would hate to have to beat this part on an official gaming platform. No kidding, I couldn't even count the amount of time I died in this section. I actually don't remember any part of this level that made me mad except for this section. and throughout it, all you're seeing is the same messed up background, the music is decent but pretty forgettable, and overall, this level is just, what was the word that Josh Schroeder came up with when he ran on this level? Oh yeah, tediating. Nothing else to say is that after this level, you'll probably feel like quitting the game. Good luck going through the level with a friend considering the co-op in this game, and I can only imagine Mega Man going through this stage. Oh wait, he already did. I couldn't resist ending this segment by referencing Mega Man dies at the end. Oh goody, another countdown with a Mega Man X6 related entry as number 1. Yuppie! I've already expressed how cheap this game is. The obstacles, bosses, and enemies, all of them show that the people behind this game obviously have some kind of grudge against us. Same can be said for the levels, with a few exceptions. Most of them show that, once again, the staff behind this game hates us for some reason. Whether it's Blizzard Wolfang's hiding on the North Pole and its cheap as heck ice physics, Infinity Magenius stage, Ball Short has that plastic Illumina pestering you around, and whatever the heck Ground Scarabus Central Museum stage is supposed to be. All of these levels are really bad, but I really need to pay my respects to one level in this game. Metal Shark Player's Recycle Lab. Oh boy, where do I even start? Well, how about the fact that I actually hinted that this would be number 1 on my last countdown? Coincidental foreshadowing for the win! Okay, in all seriousness, let's talk about the level. Let's start at the beginning, where you're greeted by a garbage press and a pretty okay right armor section, even though you don't use it for very long. This first part isn't too bad, even with the press, the cramped out areas, and the reploids you need to rescue. However, like the Turbo Tunnel, what puts the level at number 1 is the final stretch. First off, they place a conveyor belt which slows you down even when dashing. Both this and the press totally don't go well together, especially considering how fast it comes down. One accidental screw up while the press is high above you, and the press will slam onto the ground, making you wait until you decide it's safe to continue on finding the hammerhead. Considering all the junk litter throughout the stage, yeah, you'll be waiting a lot. But even with practice and patience, you still won't go past the harder parts of this stage. Especially when things just get worse because the programmer decided to put death spikes later in the level. There aren't really any Reploids you need to rescue here for extra lives compared to the first part, but I guess the programmers decided to be kind and give us as much lives as we need for the nightmare you're seeing right now. Well, that's fine, but all those extra lives you guys offered me, I'll use them all before I can even get to the boss. But what I hate most about this section is the poor checkpoint placement. It doesn't matter how far you go, you'll be sent back to the beginning part every time you die here. Capcom, let me ask you this. What is so fun about going through the same rubbish over and over again every time we die until we succeed? I know not to overdo a checkpoint because it will make the game easy, but for a level as cheap as this, can't you guys at least make an exception? I hated this level the first time I played it, and after 4 years or something, things haven't changed. Even if you didn't trigger the nightmare phenomenon in this level, it's still a chore without the right preparation. The mini-boss and Metal Shark Player themselves weren't too bad, well, at least compared to the stage and according to my memory, but those still doesn't prevent this level from making it onto number 1. And aside from that, the design, like pretty much almost all the levels present on this list, is not interesting, and the music is so bland that after I beat this stage, I completely forgot about it. No joke. That's why I'm, once again, using a better song Capcom composed here, where you have a level with annoying obstacles, bland visuals, forgettable music, cramped up spaces, and horrendous checkpoint placement. You get what I believe to be the worst gaming level of all time. I am Ron and KMO85, and don't worry, I promise I'll come up with a much more positive countdown topic for my next. Just you wait.
Sunday driver. This is bad.